think I'm live, everybody. I see volume indicators on my microphone, got my camera up here, and currently on the bottom, you're actually not seeing me on my screen today because I'm not in the office. I don't have my green screen, but on the bottom, I've got YouTube and LinkedIn. I don't think I've ever shown this before, but that's basically the live streaming stuff showing down there. Um, and I don't know what I'm going to do about comments today because usually I have more than one screen and I didn't bring a screen with me to Montreal. But speaking of Montreal, since we're live, I'm in the Unito office in downtown Montreal. And the view here, I'm just going to spin the camera around, see if you guys can see what I see. It's just a beautiful, beautiful city. If you can't hear me and you're watching, can you leave a comment on YouTube or LinkedIn? Because I know there's audio coming through. I'm wearing a mic. Don't usually do that, and it should be working, but just in case. And I'll try to keep these comments nearby so I can get to them. But what we're here to do today is we're going to talk about Unito. If you're not familiar with Unito, I'm actually in their office in, I think I said that already, in Montreal. And they are an integrator. So basically, they can take different software applications and make the integration between those applications simpler with little to no code, actually no code. I haven't found a way to do code yet, but low code, no code, where you're just dragging and dropping and configuring rules and integrating two applications without needing a developer, without needing someone with the expertise to do those things. So the use case I've got for you today is one of the most popular ones that I've actually published videos on, and that's ServiceNow, because that's the application that I'm an expert in, as well as Jira. So Jira is one of those applications that, like every startup, every small shop, even large enterprises, there are teams that are trying to manage their work, and Jira just ends up being one of those applications that's prevalent. It's in a lot of places. So doesn't surprise me that it's that popular, but it is. And that's the use case I'm going to cover. What I've already done in prep for this on my instance is I have already set up a user on ServiceNow. And I'm going to preface that with what I've done for the sake of demoing and not ruining the live stream is I've made that account a system administrator. Now, I know all of you out there are going to be like, Justin, what are you doing? And that's just because I wanted to make sure there were no issues and I'm being lazy. So essentially I could go and give permissions to the specific tables of what I want to do for the integration. And I chose not to for timing because of travel and everything. I didn't prepare well for this live stream. I was preparing more for the one this afternoon. There'll be a live stream. What just happened? Something just happened. I hope my video didn't just lose webcam. Let's see. Did I lose profiles? There we go. Okay, so I still got people on YouTube. Can you see my camera? Yeah, my camera's still there. Okay. Sorry, the camera in front of me keeps prompting me to set this up as a webcam. There I am. I tried to make sure the battery is full. In fact, it's 68%, so I don't know why it's doing that, but okay. So what was I saying? I've already set up a system. I've already set up a service account. I think I called it Unito service account. So let's just search for that real quick. We'll do star Unito. And I'm not recommending you do this. There's another service account I set up when I was doing an Agile integration. This time we're going for, I think I chose incidents and over to Jira. So that's the integration we're going to do. And I did make it an admin. So if you look down here, I have the admin role assigned somewhere. Well, because he has the admin role, he has a lot of other roles too, as you know, as an admin. I'm getting all these pop-ups that I'm not used to. I've never live streamed from my Mac before, from my laptop before. I've always live streamed from my desk, which is fun. This is the fun of the live stream, right? While we're waiting on that, let's make sure there are no comments. So I got comments. Okay, Joe, thank you. Appreciate that, Joe. Good to see you on the stream. I don't know why the camera did what it did earlier. I'm curious if it disappeared for you or if I was just freaking out, but let's check LinkedIn. make sure that LinkedIn is working like it should. Where is, there it is, LinkedIn. And no comments there. Okay, actually no viewers there. Okay, so we've got the admin account set up, and the other thing I need is Jira, which I got to find out which which window has Jira in it. Let's see, I think it's the Riverside window. Yeah, there you saw the tunnel of endless screens there. So I'm in Jira, and what I'm going to do here is I needed to make sure that I had an account to use, and I haven't been in here in a minute. And I know what you want to do when you're doing the integration with Jira and ServiceNow. You want to make sure that in ServiceNow you're not using a named user account, and in Jira that you're not using a named user account, because that will actually create issues with the integration, regardless of who does it. If it's Unito or if it's a custom Rust integration, you're going to have issues. So you want to make separate service accounts for your integrations. That's just good practice. It looks like I only have myself, and so we are not going to have an org admin be that. So we're going to add a user here. Let's see. I don't want to add team members. Let's go to security, and Jira is something I'm not an expert in. So I'm going to use my phone and see if I can get instructions here. Add Jira Cloud, add service account. I can spell the API token. That's right. That is right. I remember that. Okay, so we're going to go back and create a user. So I think I just hit the back button to where it was. And I don't want to export, I don't want to invite. So let's do it this way. Looks like I'm going to have to give it an email address. And when I did this before, I'm just going to use my business email address, because that'll be a separate account and shouldn't cause any issues. Boom, boom, boom. And now they should show up. So let's get them the right permissions. Obviously, this could be Jira service account or whatever name you want. I'm just using something that has an email address associated with it because I'm using Jira Cloud. And let's see, add user to group. And we're going to do, I might just do the same thing that I did in ServiceNow, just make them an admin for the simplicity of a demo, right? Again, this isn't best practice. I'm not saying you should, your service accounts should be full on admins. They definitely shouldn't be. Interesting. Look, I've got 5 total users, but it's only showing 2. Wonder if it's filtering by active. Okay, maybe I did already have it. So let's look at who is suspended. I might show you some names I shouldn't here. Okay, there it is. There's my Jira service. Oh yeah, look. So I had it with my old Microsoft developer account. This crossfuse scteam.onmicrosoft.com. So I had a developer account on Microsoft for a while until I made an account there. So that's what I did there. And it looks like they were a member of Jira software users and trusted users. I'm going to leave it as admin just for sake of simplicity, because for this demo, I don't want it to go crazy or anything. So I don't want to pull up my business email in front of you because I don't know what's sitting there waiting for me. But I'm pulling it up on my phone. I'm going to accept the invite and hopefully set a password. And I can write that password down if I need to. I've got index card for the passwords. My phone internet isn't as fast. Okay, password, create password. Oh, let's see. Don't say it out loud, Justin. And I'll put a symbol in there. And I'll make sure I write this down. Continue. Says my password was strong, so that's good. No Google, I don't want to save my password. I'm a Bitwarden user. I'm not using Google for my password management. Just waiting. I discovered traveling to Canada, I don't have the right service plan. So I'm currently using what's called, which I've never used before, an eSIM in order to have data access while I'm here. And before the live stream, I didn't log into the Unito Wi-Fi on this one. I probably should have. I might do that here in a second because it's trying. It's using. It's not even using 5G. Let me see if I can get on their Wi-Fi. It was there's I'm in an office building, so there's like every freaking Wi-Fi name you can imagine. And let's get, I don't want to say their password out loud either. Connect. It is scanning, is authenticating, and I could not connect. Great. Check password and try again. Let's try this one. They have 4 different networks here. It's like every business. There's different networks for depending on who's using it, what they're doing it, what the purpose is. Um, so I did this on my laptop. I tried a couple of them before I found the right one. Okay, this one worked. So let's go back to Atlassian. I'm gonna have to set that password again. No. Okay, I'm good. So I'm ready to go on Jira, and we're gonna do the integration. So my next step is we're gonna log into Unito. This is something I don't think I've done on the channel before. So if you're not familiar with Unito, go to unito.io, and that's where you can learn all about the different applications and the people who are using their application. I'm gonna log into my account, and there went my video again. Dang it. I must be like knocking the table or something. And I'm just now realizing you can't see this because I can't show you the wire, the USB-C cable that's connecting from my camera into my laptop. I can see the wire on like the end of it, so I need to replace that cable. That's a shame. I should be using it. I think I have a different one here. So if we have to, I've got a backup cable we can switch. All right, enough of that. Let's get logged in to Unito. And I know I have a password for Unito. So yeah, there it is. Copy password. We're going to verify that I'm a human and log in. Close that. And now you're seeing Unito for the first time. And I like this initial setup is that it's very much like a guided tour in ServiceNow in setting up an integration. So all of the help documentation is in the right-hand side. Do I have Presentify on here? I might. Nope, don't. I don't have my drawing pen on here. So down here in the bottom right, where my head usually is, some resources if I get stuck or need to do something. And then in the center, it's going to kind of walk me through. And I was doing one with Asana before, and I think I dropped it and stopped doing it. But I'm just going to go ahead and delete this, and we're going to start a new one. They call theirs flows or workflows. And I'm going to just go ahead and create a new one, and we're going to connect our tools. So this is how it starts being really easy. So we'll go ahead and start here, and we're going to add a tool. And the first one we're going to do is ServiceNow. So let's go ahead and grab ServiceNow. And we're not going to use the Asana integration. So you can have different service accounts set up for your different connections. So if you had dev, test, and prod, or different applications, you can have different service accounts. So we're not going to use that. We're going to connect a new service account. And so the first time I did this, I went with the OAuth 2.0. Again, that's probably the more best practice, more secure way to do it. Instead, on this one, just like me making them an admin, I'm going to go ahead and use the connect username. You can't see I'm pointing at your screen and you can't see it. I'm going to use the username and password for this one. So we'll put in my instance name, which is back here. So now you all know my instance URL because I am not able to blur this out in a live stream. I'll just paste that in. And then the username is this. And the password is so crazy that I had to just copy and paste it from a sticky note. So you can try to go use that, and I'm going to disable this password right after the live stream. So don't think that I put that out there on purpose. Okay, so now we're connected to ServiceNow. That was how easy it was. Easy because I did an administrator, but If you weren't to do an administrator, essentially what you need to do, and there's instructions on Unito's website how to do this, you need to go give permissions to the exact tables that that service account will need access to. And then you would give permissions to the sysjournal table, read permissions to the sysjournal table. Now, I went back and forth with the product team about the need for that, and I'm hoping eventually I can find a workaround. I'm not on the product team, but I've worked with them and they're very nice and very open. The trouble is, if we don't go directly to that table, and if you were to try to get work notes and comments from the table API, the work notes and comments aren't coming through with their actual value. So when you're using an API with the table API, you can specify whether you get the display values or the actual values for fields that are referenced in a table. And obviously, comments and work notes are referenced in a table. So the only way to do that and get the ID is to actually query the sysjournal table, which I don't like, but for now, that's what we have to do. So I'm going to use this Unito service account. And again, remember I said there's no coding, so you're just selecting options. We're going to pick a table. And from what I can tell, when you actually click on this, it's going out and looking to see what tables that account has access to. And of course, it's an admin, so it has access to everything. And unfortunately, it's my demo instance, which has everything installed. So let's go to incident is what we're going to do. And get to the next option here. There's some stuff going on in the background. It's doing some thinking and querying things once it has access and knows what table we're going to. So while that's doing that on the left-hand side, I'm going to go ahead and come over here. Okay, it automatically did that. So table and the type record, and then we're going to come over here on the work in, and we're going to choose Jira. Now, while I'm over here, let's just scroll down. So it knows I've used Asana, and it knows I've used ServiceNow before. I'm just going to get this table out of the picture. I noticed the table I'm sitting on is actually showing. Let's see if I can fix that a little bit. There we go. A little bit better. So I'm using ServiceNow and Jira, but here's Asana, which I've tried or I've done it before. But check this out. Look at all these different applications that can be integrated with each other, right? So I'm just on one side of the integration table. I'm in the G's now, Google, HubSpot, Jira. So if you're a Jira user, you got Jira Cloud, Jira Data Center, Jira Server, Jira Service Management Cloud, Jira Management Data Center, and Jira Management Server. I'm going to choose the Jira Cloud, which is what you saw me go put that account in for. But let's keep scrolling. Jotform, MailChimp, Meistertask, stuff I hadn't even heard of. Excel and Outlook and Miro, Monday, MySQL, Smartsheet. That's a big one. A lot of people are asking about Smartsheet. Slack is another big one. I know there's a lot of people that use Salesforce with Unito in order to synchronize with different apps. Stripe, SurveyMonkey, Trello, Typeform, Rike. I have a customer right now who's using Rike instead of project management and ServiceNow. They don't believe me when I said that project management is better than Rike, but Xero, Zendesk, and Zoho projects. Wow, Zoho's still around. So we're going to use Jira. So we'll search for Jira, Jira Cloud, and we're going to put in the account just like we did for ServiceNow. So we'll connect a new Jira Cloud account, and we'll put our URL, which is on this tab. And that is not the URL. This is the URL. Okay. So please don't go DDoS my URL for Jira. I don't want to take your surveys. Okay, Unity for Jira Cloud is requesting access. Okay, so this is where you might make a big mistake. See what it did? It saw me already logged in and not my service accounts, and that's not the account that I want to use. So we're going to cancel this, and I'm going to log out of Jira, and we'll log back in as that service account. Oh, can I switch account? Add another account, and said I wrote that down. SA_ Unito. Oh, that's right. It was my address, my business address. Okay. And the password is, don't read it out loud, Justin. And that should log me in. While we're waiting on that, let's check on, we'll do two-step verification later, but that's not to say you should be doing two-step verification. Don't skip those. Be good, be secure in your apps. Let's go back and I want to see if there's any comments on LinkedIn. Nothing there. How about YouTube? Is it this one right here? Okay, just Joe's comment. So we're still doing good. We're getting signed into Atlassian. I'm signing in as the service account so that when we click that Unito link to add or connect the account, it's going to be using our service account and not my account. The trouble you get in with using your account, since we're waiting on the screen to reload, is if you're a named user and you're doing the integration, there's some conflicts that'll happen when somebody else does something. So just always use service accounts. In fact, I'd say, a lot of the help questions I've seen or comments I've seen come through on the channel, and I apologize, I don't reply to all those, are usually related to someone's using their named account instead of their service account. So, and this isn't because it's ServiceNow and Jira. This isn't because it's Unito. It's just an integration best practice to use a service account. And I just saw what was happening with the camera. So it looks like I'm losing power somehow, probably the stupid cable. Um, and that's what's causing the webcam issues. But Joe said it was fine, so I'm going to trust him. I'll know when I go back and look at the recording, of course. Okay, so we're in as our service account, and I think I already have a project set up for Unito, and I do. Accept all the cookies here. Oh my gosh, with all this stuff popping up. Too helpful, people. That stuff is too helpful. Okay, so we're good there. So let's go back to Unito, and we're going to try again. And now I still see my picture. I don't want to use my picture. I don't want to use my account. Why did it not go with my other account? Okay, so let's cancel out of here. And we'll cancel out of this one. And we're right back here. So now let's try all the way from the beginning. Connect a new Jira Cloud account. And I know that's not in my history, so let's go grab that again. One of the things I miss about Windows is you could have a clipboard history. So instead of pasting, there was like a shortcut to paste and pick something else from your clipboard history. I wish there was the same thing on Mac. That's a really nice feature. I'm getting a phone call from New Jersey. It's probably spam. Still trying to connect to my account. Although that might be the account that is just part of my, okay, log out. Log into another account. There we go. I thought I was the other account on this screen. Oh, I wasn't. Oh, no, I was. Okay. Okay, now I'm in as that account. Let's try this again. Connect a new Jira Cloud account. And is that, yeah, still in my history. Oh my word. Why does it keep picking the wrong account? This is not a Unito thing. This is Jira. When we're authenticating, for some reason, it's going to my regular account. So, okay, so what I'm going to do, you probably experienced this, especially if you're a ServiceNow admin. I use profiles in Chrome to prevent problems like this. So I'm going to jump into a different profile, and we're going to head back to Unito and try this real quickly again. So I've already set up the service account here, so I'm not going to lose any work, but I will lose this initial incident table, so that's fine. So we'll go back here, and I'm just going to close this out, and we're going to go to a different profile. Good, there's nothing there. Unito.io. We will log in. And now what I'm doing is I'm guaranteeing that I'm going to be asked for a login to Atlassian, and I want to log in as that service account. So let's go ahead and log into Unito first. Which account is it? Is it too many things? Unito. It's the Justin, it's my business one, so we'll use that one. It's this guy. Verify I'm a human. I don't know how it proves I'm a human. I don't know how that works, but okay. So we're back to the quick walkthrough, and I'm going to just go ahead and create a new one again. I'm not going to have to set up the service account for ServiceNow again because that's done. But we will have to set up the Jira one hopefully and get this right this time. So, how helpful is that? It remembered what I was doing and saved it for me. So thank you, Unito. I appreciate that. Let's go ahead and, is that the instance I want? No, that's not the instance I want. That is not the right 19634, I think. 6034. There. Continue. Oh, Jira. Duh, Justin. Oh. Let's grab the right URL this time. Continue. Perfect. That's what I wanted. I wanted to be asked for a login. My password is over here. All right. Now I don't see my picture. That's what I was after. My picture was showing up here, which was letting me know I was connecting my named account, and I didn't want to use that. So we're going to go ahead and accept. And I said this on a previous live stream. I can't remember. It might have been 2 or 3 ago. But when you do integrations with any applications, there's just a lot going on. There's the complexity of one application. There's the complexity of the application you're integrating with, and then there's the integration complexity, right? So who syncs with who? Who's the owner of this field versus that field? What do you want to do when this happens versus that happens? And Unito's kind of taken the hard work out of that, so that it's easier to get started and get going. You don't need a professional ServiceNow admin to actually come and set that up. So I'm going to choose that Unito integrations project that I showed you in Atlassian or in Jira. And remember, it's actually going through using its credentials to find those projects. So what you're seeing is happening real time for it querying those. And once everything is set up, I can hit confirm and we get to the good parts. So let's just review what we've done. We've configured a ServiceNow connection with our instance and a service account. And on the right-hand side, we've configured a connection with Jira Cloud with a service account. It took me a minute, but it was more an issue of what I'm doing versus how hard it is. So now, notice we get to choose, is it incidents going into Jira or to Jira and that's it? Or are they going back and forth? So there's synchronization and updates going back and forth between the two, or is it just Jira Cloud going to ServiceNow? I'd say the most common that I see is a back and forth, so a bi-directional integration, and that's what we're going to do today, is a bi-directional integration. So we're going to define the sync conditions. So add conditions to restrict records and issues and Unito syncs between your tools. Now, why might you want to do this? Maybe in the incident space in ServiceNow, you only want a certain team's incident. So you're looking at an assignment group, or maybe you want a certain category of incidents, or maybe you want only ones that are created after a certain date, which was what we're seeing here on the screen. So that's what the rules are. So I'm going to choose that. I think I do have a special group that I have for this. I think it's called dev team or something like that. But we're going to look at assignment group. Ooh, this is new. Unito has changed some of this since I messed with it last. So I've got assignment group name. Well, let's try this one. Oh, there. I wanted to pick the assignment group, and then I think it's happy devs. Yes, there it is, happy devs. And then I could continue to add rules. So some other scenarios is priority, criticality, category, I already said, subcategory, and assignment group. But those are the kind of things that you might filter on in order to control what's going over from ServiceNow into the Jira Cloud. So that's the rule section there. Then what is it going to do? It's going to create a matching issue in my project, set the issue type to task, but we could pick a bug, a story, epic, or a subtask. I'm going to leave it simple as a task. And then I don't remember this, either stop conditions, currently in beta. Okay, we're not going to mess with beta on a live stream. So now if something is created in Unito, not Unito, in Jira, we're going to create an incident. So we'll start syncing issues from Unito integration created on or after March 22nd. And let's add a new rule. and let's control whether we're going to create an incident over there and include, actually, you know what? I'm not going to put a condition on it because I'm in a project in Jira. So most projects in Jira are team based, and it would be unusual to have, I mean, it wouldn't be unusual to have more than one team working in a project, but most of the teams that I've come across, each team has their own project, if not more than one project within Jira. So I'm going to leave it there. But leave the date there as a good practice, especially when you're setting up and testing. Notice it's on both of them and it was there by default. So that's just making sure that if we set this up and we didn't do it right, that we're not going to create 10,000 incidents as tasks in Jira, or vice versa, create 10,000 incidents in ServiceNow from 10,000 tasks in Jira. So the date's a good thing. In fact, let's even be more aggressive and let's bump that up to March 22nd of this year. Since today is the 23rd, we'll bump this up to March 22nd. That way I know I'm not going to get anything but what we're doing in this live stream, because actually a bunch of incidents. No, that was another instance got created last night because my Windows server rebooted. All right. And then lastly here, then create matching records and incidents. Oh, it's here. Yes, this is awesome. Okay. So this wasn't here before. Unito, you freaking rock. So now I can say, when you create the matching incident I'm grinning because I'm so happy about this. This is not how it worked before, and I was like, man. Okay, so create matching records in incident and set the assignment group to the assignment group that we're actually dealing with. Before it was just creating them, because I didn't have this option before. So God, you guys are awesome. So that's awesome. Can we do any more? Yeah, so we can add another one. We can set maybe the priority or criticality or short description, but let's do, we'll do fields here in a second. Because the field mapping is something you're not doing field mapping here, right? This is more about um, setting the conditions for doing the synchronization. And the reason you're seeing an assignment group here is because there is no assignment group with that sys ID, which you can see here at the end. That doesn't exist in Jira. So when I get to the field mapping, I don't have that to map to a field. So that's why you need to put this here. So, and then they did it automatically, which I just love that I didn't have to go do that. So that is awesome. I'm gonna go find after this live stream who did that and, like, give them a hug. Not an uncomfortable hug, but a nice hug. I might not hug them. Okay, stop syncing conditions. That's beta. We're not going to mess with that. So let's confirm. And now we get to choose whether these fields are mapped automatically or manually. And this application is pretty smart, and it's not uncommon when you're going to do these integrations that people have already done the integration before. So I always go with the map automatically, and then I can adjust things afterwards. So let's go ahead and map. We'll see how that looks. Work notes are going to comments, attachments are going to attachments, description to description, short description to summary, description footer to link to an issue, and link to record to, okay, I don't want description footer. I don't even know on the ServiceNow side what the heck description footer is. So link to issue, though, actually does sound important. So I'm going to put that in the correlation ID, and then I still don't know what the heck description footer is. In fact, um, link to issue is important, but correlation ID, okay, correlation ID is usually where you put, there's two fields. There's the correlation name and correlation ID. So you usually put like Jira and then the ID of that issue in the correlation ID. And that's how you typically do an integration. But because we're using Unito, we don't have to worry about that as developers anymore, because they're taking care of the synchronization, however they're doing it. So that leaves that field open to me, as long as there's no other integrations between incidents and some other application that somebody else has done. The reason I'm hesitating is for that very reason. There might be something else there. So I'm going to put link to issue in the, can I do it in the comments or the work notes list? That sounds better. So let's put a link to issue in the work notes list, and then a link to the record in ServiceNow. What the heck is description footer? We'll just stay with description footer. I don't even know. I had it over here on the left-hand side too. What else is missing? So we got work notes, attachments, description, short description. That's good enough for the demo. But if we needed to add something, just so you can see it, we can go select any field in ServiceNow that's on the incident table and pick that one. Now, depending on what type of field we pick, will drive what kind of field we can sync it to in Jira. So it is a smart integration application, but I'm going to leave most of that alone for the sake of the live stream. So let's go ahead and delete that one. And I'll also point out, man, I wish I had my pointer, that in each one of these, you can control the flow of those. Is it syncing back and forth, or is it going one way versus the other way, like you see down here with the link to issue and link to record? Obviously, you don't want to synchronize those because they're different. So you only want them going one way, but the short description and summary, if one gets updated one place, you want to update it the other. Same with description, attachments. I've never done attachments before, so that's pretty cool. Maybe if we have time, we'll do an attachment because that would be neat. Actually, I've never even done a REST or integration hub integration with attachments because I always just stop at the easy part. All right, next part is to launch our flow. And you've got kind of see, I've done the guided experience, the guided tour or the walkthrough. So the last part is to go ahead and launch that. We get a prompt, are we ready to launch it? We can name it. So let's just rename this ServiceNow incidents to Jira, what do we say, tasks? Jira tasks. Auto sync is enabled, changes will sync in the background, launch flow. And if I did everything right on the live stream, we should be good. I actually have music I can play. I just can't hear it to know if it's too loud. And you'd have to watch me. I only have one screen, so you'd have to watch me open up Riverside and we'd get the infinity window if I did that. So I'm not going to do that. We're just going to wait here. But it's a good time to check on comments. So let's see. Are there any comments from the peanut gallery? I don't have any viewers. Do I have no viewers on LinkedIn at all? Uh, current viewers 0, 3-second view 0. Yeah, nobody's watching on LinkedIn. That's unfortunate. Let's try YouTube. Just Joe's comment, 2 viewers. That's okay. That's okay. People are working. So we're waiting here. What else can I tell you? Montreal's pretty cool. I got here at 9 o'clock last night, and it looks like your request took too long. Please try again. Contact our team for support. Their support team is like right over there. So launch flow. Let's try that again. The link is not a draft. This link is not a draft. What? I don't even know what that means. Okay, I'm going to go back to these field mappings and I'm going to get rid of these 2. See if that makes a difference. I only said because this link is not a draft. I don't know what that means. Launch flow. So yeah, I got here at 9 o'clock last night, just enough time to like have dinner and pass out from being exhausted from flying all day. But it is a beautiful city. I got to run in it this morning. I picked a weird, I picked a weird route that's by the port, Port Montreal or Montreal Port. I can't remember which order it was in. Um, this is a French-speaking city, so there's a lot of French signs, and I've been told bonjour and merci by a lot of people, which is cool because I'm not used to being around people that speak French. So this is my first time out of the States, which is I thought was neat. So just sharing a little bit there. We actually have this afternoon, we're doing a live stream in the Unito office. I'm actually going to be in a different place than I am right now because we're going to have people here and there'll be a bunch of people and we're going to go through the Yokohama release. And if you've seen my release stuff before, oh, I just noticed that it renamed, I wanted this to be ServiceNow incidents to Jira tasks. So yeah, we're doing that at 4 p.m. Eastern. And if you've seen it before, it's where I basically go through my stats and my metrics about the release, what's new, what was updated, what was deprecated, what's AI related. I got a couple of fun things in there today to talk about. Let's see if I can give you a preview. So I usually go through at some point, since I never know who's watching, I'd like to explain how I'm doing this. So we'll probably talk a little bit about some features. I'm not going to name them right now, but then we'll go through that. We'll go through store release 1. So I did have a video on store release 1. So we're going to cover the new applications from store release 1. We're not going to like cover it in depth, but we're going to go through, talk a little bit about Now Assist and agentic AI. And I think those are very well covered topics by ServiceNow. And if you are part of the community, you know that unless you have ponied up the cash for Pro Plus or whatever it is that distributes Now Assist and agentic AI into your system, we don't have our hands on it yet. So I should get hands on with both of these at Knowledge 25, which is in just like 2 weeks. So I might have more to say on that eventually. Then there's another application I want to talk about. I'm not going to tell you what it is. Then I want to talk about deprecations. I want to talk about workflows. I want to talk a little bit about AI readiness, and then also another feature or another application. So I got my little notes here. Since I don't have my screens, I don't have all my notes with me. Okay, so this is up now set. It looks like it launched my workflow. We are good to go. And this little interface here is actually looking at the flow we've named ServiceNow instance of Jira tasks. And I can kind of come in here and monitor the activity. So if something's not going right, we'll have it access to the logs here and review and see what happened. But let's start in ServiceNow. Let's go create an incident in ServiceNow, and we're going to assign it to the Happy Devs group, and that should automatically flow over. So let's go to incident.list. I'm actually at the service account right now, so I'm making a mistake. You saw me do it. Let's log out. You do not want to test as your service account because your service account is the one that's doing the integrating. You want to test with named accounts or test accounts, and you should not test with your service accounts, and you should not test with, you should not integrate with named accounts. Okay, let's try that again. Don't test with service accounts and don't integrate with named accounts. You want to integrate with service accounts and you want to test with named accounts. All integrations, regardless. Let's just let that be a lesson. All right, log out. I'm going to log in as admin, which you shouldn't do either. You should have a named account, but it's my PDI. So yeah, don't log in as admin. And now I got to find the password. I'm going to have to show you my Bitwarden, which I think I've already done. Oh no, here it is. Copy password, you'll never see it. Okay, boom. And I already did MFA earlier, so I don't have to do it again. I'm telling you, compared to doing a regular integration, this is so much easier. I mean, it's not hard, and don't get me wrong, the integration in ServiceNow, but there's just a lot that you have to know where to go to do things. So let's go ahead and head back to incident.list. There's all my incidents. Let's hit new. And we'll name this one like live stream or something like that. We'll put the caller as Abraham Lincoln like we do, like I do all the time. Short description, live stream demo with Unito. What's today's date? Today's the 23rd, 4/23. And I'll use that same thing for the description, paste it in there. This came in through self-service, and we want to assign it to, and this is our trigger, right? So that Unito is monitoring the new incidents, but I have a filter on there to only synchronize stuff that's assigned to the Happy Devs team. Why aren't they showing up? Happy, H-A-P. Okay, why isn't my group showing up there? What did I do wrong? Sys user group dot lists. No, I have to leave because my group isn't showing up. I wonder if they're not an ITIL group. Oh, that's right, because I set them up for an agile integration, not incident integration, so they don't have ITIL. So let's give them ITIL. I have Scrum user for the group, but I don't have ITIL. So ITIL is the role for incidents, problems, changes, requests, and now they should show up. So let's go back to a new incident record. We'll do the same thing again, Abraham Lincoln. And short description, live stream demo of Unito 4/23, copy and paste. Well, I don't know why I'm insisting on picking a channel there, but now I should be able to pick my Happy Devs. Mm. Why aren't they showing up? Oh, geez. Joe, are you still there? Why isn't my group showing up? What the heck am I doing? Let's just, okay, we can fix this. Let's do hardware. We won't pick a person. And let's, before we hit save, let's go back to Unito and we'll just modify that rule. This one right here, I think. Nope. This one. And let's get rid of the, well, I can actually add another group. Hardware. Perfect. And then let's go make sure down here, actually, let's get rid of the other group there. Okay, so it's just the hardware group. And let's delete this one, add set assignment group to hardware, and we'll save. How would you like your changes to be applied? Only new records and issues? Yes, yes. That's why I didn't save that incident yet. Okay, flow settings are saved. Back to overview. Everything should be good to go. Now let's go back to our incident. We're going to assign it to the hardware group. Let's hit save. Now, that should automatically create a task in Jira without us having to do any integration. So Unito is going to take care of that hard work for us. I'm not sure if I'm going to have to refresh. Jira changes so much. I mean, it probably changes as much as ServiceNow, but I'm just not in it as much as I am ServiceNow. I live in ServiceNow. So I don't know if it's going to have to, let's just go ahead and hit refresh. And I don't see it yet. So what I can do is go back to my thing here and just see this is set to auto refresh. It is not like instantaneous real time that I have found. Like there's usually not a delay, but there's usually some time between the time it happens there and the time it happens in the system you're integrating with. So let's go ahead and sync now. Just because we're doing a live stream, I want to make sure before we run out of time at the top of the hour that we actually get that across. I want to go both ways. I want to create something in ServiceNow, see it show up in Jira, and I like to create something in Jira, see it show up in ServiceNow. And the last part, if we have time, I'd love to add a comment on both and make sure that comes through, because that's the part that gets everybody, is usually the comments, or as we saw earlier, the attachments. I would like to do that too if we have time, is the attachments. Let's see, while we're waiting, let's see if any comments came through. Nothing on LinkedIn. And let's see on YouTube. Yes, we got YouTube. Just got on. Agentic AI with VR module would be exciting to watch. Maybe sysid is off on group reference. Yeah, maybe. I don't know what was up with that. That was weird. Okay, so it successfully found it when I hit that sync button. So now when we go to Jira, we should see that incident. So let's check it out. I'm going to have to refresh here. Ah, where is it? Should be, if it created it, I should be able to see it. I'm looking for task. Do I see task anywhere? Task should show up on my board. Let's go to list view. Live stream demo of, I spelled it wrong, Uniot. Sorry, Unito team, 423. Okay, so we do have it. It is showing as a task. How do I open? Man, Jira's changed a lot. To do, there's usually a form view of a task. What the heck? Create child work item. What options I have? One work item, copy to clipboard, edit. Let's do edit. This looks way different than I was used to. Is it because I did a task instead of an issue? Is that my mistake? That's fixable. Okay, this is not the experience I'm used to. So let's do one more thing. edit tools, and instead of creating a task, I'm going to create an issue. Ah, it is issue. Why did I have task in my head? Okay, so it is creating issue into the project Unito integration. Okay, let's go back to Jira. Okay, let's add a comment since I said I wanted to add a comment. So we'll do that. That's what I'm looking for. This is the form I was looking for. Can I make this bigger? Yes, let's embiggen it. This is what I was looking for. Add comment. This is a comment from Jira. What do you want from us? From us happy devs. I'll save that, and we should see that in ServiceNow when it syncs over, but we know that's going to take a minute, so let's go ahead and create one here. I wish it would pop out a window. What needs to be done? Test issue sync to ServiceNow, and enter to create. It created it. Test issue sync to ServiceNow. Okay, and it's got a unique ID, and we're good to go. Let's see if I click on that. I just wish there was a way to like update this over here with this over here. This is why I can't be an expert in everything. Okay, so we got that in Jira. So let's head back to ServiceNow, which is here. And we should see that comment fly through. And we also should see a new incident at some point. So we don't see the comment yet. Let's go back and see if there are any new incidents. So we'll go to incident.list. There's my misspelled incident short description. Let's go ahead and fix that. Unito. There we go. Let's save that. Sorry, Unito team. I did not mean to misspell your brand. Okay, that's saved. So we're waiting on the back and forth. But now I've done something here, which should update there. So let's go ahead while we're doing that and add a comment. So we'll do, I'm going to do two. I'm going to do additional comments. I'm going to do some work notes just as a test. So this will be test additional comments from ServiceNow. We'll post that. And then we'll do test work notes from ServiceNow. And we'll post that. Boom, done. So I've got two on the way there. I've got two coming back. And now let's go check Unito and see what's going on with the integration. Let's see. Last sync was 9 minutes ago. Flow is currently syncing. So it was syncing automatically, and it's not going to let me sync it again. So we'll just wait it out here. And I've given it enough work to do to go both directions. So it should be going both. I should also say too, when I do integrations like this, especially in my PDI, think of the Unito part as also like a PDI. Now it's not something you can go get. You're going to have to work with a salesperson if you're interested in this. But I've been working with Unito on kind of showing what the tool does. And so they've set me up an account so that I can demonstrate this. So the reason I'm saying that is because PDIs aren't performant. They're functional, but they're not necessarily going to consume the best or most amount of resources. And I'm assuming, Unito hasn't told me this, that they probably didn't give me like the super fastest, account that an enterprise would necessarily get just to do demos with. So there it was. So everything went through. Looks like we had one thing fail, and that was an update into ServiceNow, but then maybe it came through again. So let's go check out ServiceNow first. So let's head this direction, and we'll just refresh. And what do we got? I don't have my work notes yet. Let's see, did we get the incident though? We did. So there is an issue I created in Jira that came through to ServiceNow and assigned to the hardware team like we wanted it to. Notice no caller though. That's just because we didn't set up the call or anything. And no description because I didn't set that up when it was creating it. But we can configure all that. Let us also test though work notes from ServiceNow to Jira. And we'll post that. And then we'll do additional comments from ServiceNow to Jira. And the last thing that I'm curious about is this attachments. I never would have thought of doing attachments. It's great. It's brilliant. We'll do AI governance. Yeah, that sounds perfect. Close, save my incident. So remember, this incident was created in Jira first, and now I'm doing stuff to it in Jira on ServiceNow and expecting to go to Jira. So now we've done all that in here. Let's go check out Jira. I'm going to hit refresh. So let's check out our first one. Notice it did fix the spelling that I corrected in ServiceNow. So that was being synced over. I do have 2 comments that came over. Let's check those out. No more one long list of fields. You can now scan fields in groups. Okay, thank you, Jira. Now we see test work notes from ServiceNow. This is a comment from Jira. What do you want from us happy devs? All right, so that's the one that did not come over to ServiceNow. I probably screwed something up. But this one, not only does it have test work notes from ServiceNow, notice it says system administrator commented. So we kind of got some context around where that work note came from. So that's pretty cool. So that's that one. Let's see. We know we put comment on another one that's probably still syncing. Why can't I scroll over? There we go. Scroll over. So this is the test issue sync from to ServiceNow. This is really bothering me. Why can't I open up these tasks? Are they showing on the board yet? I'm on the board. Still not showing on the board. Work type, work item. I don't know what I've done wrong in Service or in Jira. They used to show up here. Maybe it's in the backlog. Yes, there we go. They're in the backlog. Okay, we're not going to put them in a sprint. So there's the live stream. Okay, this is what I'm used to. Now I can click on this and I should see all the information on the right-hand side, and no comments yet, but I did have comments on this one. And actually I'm expecting comments and an attachment on this bottom task. So that's what we're waiting for, is the attachment. So let's go check the Unito status. Looks like something failed from ServiceNow to Jira. Common error messages. So these are knowledge articles. This is some diagnosis information for the Unito service team. What's likely it is, I've been messing around with permissions in my PDI, so not sure what's going on there, but hopefully I have more successes than failures. So hopefully you get the idea of how easy it is until you have to troubleshoot a little bit. But that's fairly typical with 2 different applications. Something's not going to go right, and there's going to be a little bit of troubleshooting. So I'm not surprised there. Just disappointed that it didn't work on the live stream the way I wanted it to. But I am happy to see that, number one, the information was syncing back and forth. So the main goal was, if I create an incident in ServiceNow, does it create an issue in Jira? And yes, it did. And if I create an issue in Jira, does it create the incident in ServiceNow? Yes, it did. Now, could that incident have been created better? So when I'm creating it, remember that screen that we're up here? Not that one, this one, where I was setting the assignment group and stuff like that. Actually, that's not where I messed up. I messed up on the map fields. That's where it did. So when I was creating an incident or an issue in Jira, which would have been, there's the summary and the description. Actually, that was set to go through as back and forth. So I did do that right. That was out of the box. So let's see, is there a public, oh, they renamed it public comments to comments. I'm not going to do that since we're out of time here, but more time for me to get down in there and play now that it's going. So that could have been the attachment and that could have been the comments. I really don't know which one it was. Let's just, since we're at time here, let's go back to Jira, and I'm going to do a refresh, and let's see if that attachment came through, because I'm still kind of thinking that's pretty cool if it did. Do, 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 do. But it was nice being here with you guys today. It's my first out of the country live stream. First out of the country, first on my laptop, first with a mic, first with one screen, first with an external camera, first in somebody else's office and not my own. So a lot of firsts today, but it was fun. Let's see if there's any more comments while that's thinking away there. I think the thinking away is I don't think Jira's down. I think my connection is not so great. I have the VPN turned on to Express VPN, so that could be. Let me just turn that off real quick. In Jira, save that. And let's see, all, this is a description in Jira, history. Yeah, I don't see where attachments are in Jira to know if that worked or not. Work log, nope. I don't see attachments anywhere here. I don't even know how to attach something in Jira if I wanted to. Obviously, I'm not like a great Jira user. I just know that it's really common, so I try to keep up a little bit with it. Um, ooh, welcome to a work item. This is what I was hoping for. Okay, details, automations, comments. Yeah, I'm still not seeing the attachment or anything. So kind of like we're kind of halfway successful with this integration. Um, Considering the circumstances, I'm actually kind of pleased. It worked out pretty well. This description should update the next time that it updates. But anyways, I got to wrap this up. Thank you all. If you thank you for coming. Thank you for streaming. If you did, thank you for watching later. If you do, appreciate it. I will be back next week every Wednesday, except for 2 Wednesdays ago. Every Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern, 1700 UTC, doing live streams. Now, next week should be good. The question one is going to be the week of knowledge. I'm hoping to do a live stream. That's going to be at 1, 12, 11, 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern, and 1700 UTC. That's the week of May the 6th or 7th, or not the week of, that's the day. We'll be doing that live from Las Vegas. Should everything go okay. I've learned a lot here by doing a live stream. In fact, I might try to figure out if I can get like a little tiny monitor in order to be able to have like passwords and stuff like that up on the side and comments so that I can see your comments. But I appreciate it. What else is new? If I don't have my videos running today, which is another thing I can improve on. But when they do, there's a QR code there, and you can see that to get to all my socials. But I've run over 3 minutes over. Thank you, everyone. I'll check one more time, make sure there's no comments, and we'll wrap this up. Nothing on LinkedIn, and probably nothing on YouTube. What is the size of max attachments? Certain 591, the size of max attachments, there is a size. I don't know it off the top of my head, but it's a system property. If you go into sys underscore properties dot lists, let's just do that real quick since I've got very few comments and I want to see if I can help you out. There is at least there was an attachment size limit. Oh my God, there's 75 different ones. There it is. Max size is 1024. If you open this up, I think it's going to show you megabyte or kilobytes. I think it's megabytes. Maximum file attachment size in megabytes is 1024 megabytes. So I think that's about a gigabyte. If I got my math right, 1024 is the limit or the max attachment size for ServiceNow. I have no idea what it is in Jira, and I don't know what it is if Unito has one for the max attachment size passing back and forth. But hit me up. I left my email a couple of times in the live stream, so hit me up if you want to have further questions. I'd be happy to help you out. Thank you for watching. Thanks for leaving a comment, making it more interesting for me. And I think I'm going to wrap with that and call it a done live stream. So I'm gonna hit end. Thank you guys. It's gonna look weird because I'm gonna have to open Riverside and you're gonna get the infinite window. But yeah, thanks, and we'll see you on the next live stream or the next video.